Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another in our class meeting sessions. And for this evening's episode, we're going to be looking at verbs. We're going to revise the proper use of verbs. And we're going to be using our practical course as our text. We're going to go to page 61. So I'll give you a minute for that. So again, page 61. So it says here, main points. Number one, verbs are used to express an action or a state of being. For example, the boy runs fast. That's the action. My dress is new. Statement. Number two, verbs can be singular or plural. If the subject of a sentence is singular, the verb must be singular. If the subject of the sentence is plural, the verb must be plural. Example, the boy walks to school. Singular. The subject there is boy. How do we find the subject of a sentence again? We ask ourselves who or what. How do we find the verb? What is done? We ask ourselves the question, what is being done? So in this case, the boy, subject, verb walks, singular. Plural now, the boys, more than one, walk to school. 3. Verbs show the time that the action takes place. This is called the tense of a verb. Verbs can tell if the actions take place in the present time, past time, or in the future. For example, I walked to school, present tense. I walked to school, past tense. They will walk to school, future tense. I shall walk to school, future tense. The tense of a verb can also show whether the action is finished or not. The child has a new pen. That's a simple present tense. I saw an accident. Simple present tense. However, I am learning English. Present continuous tense. While we were playing, it began to rain. Past continuous. Point number 4. Sometimes a verb needs a helping or auxiliary verb to form tenses. Here are some examples. Am, is, are, was, were, has, have, must, could, would, should, will, shall, and can. All of those are examples of auxiliary verbs. For example, I was running. I have seen her before. We shall go to the cinema. The men must not hunt. You could have passed this test. Let's move now from page 61 to page 62. In the following pages, you will learn more about verbs. Remember that a verb is an action word. A verb is an action word. For example, the dog bit the man. The action word or verb is bit. Some simple verbs that help to make a statement in which no action is shown is my dog is clever. So there's no action being shown there. Number 2, I have a new dress. No action is shown there, but still, this is a verb. Is and have are verbs that make statements. They make statements. Sometimes a verb is verb needs a helping or auxiliary verb, as was said before. For example, my dog can do tricks. Number 2, I am running. So here we have exercise 1 on page 62. We should underline the verbs in the sentences below. I go to church on Sundays. Ask yourself, what is done? I go. Number 2, the dogs chase the chickens. What is done? Chasing is done. So chase is the verb. We play football and cricket. What is done? We play. My teacher is kind. What statement? What is used to make the statement? Is. Okay. Or as we say sometimes, we have verbs that express a state of being. So is. Yesterday, I saw two doves near my window. I saw. What was done? I saw. So saw, verb. Folk tales are exciting. So are would be the verb there, and it's helping to make a statement. There are mangoes on the tree. Are would be the verb there. Cinderella was sad because she wanted to go to the ball. So we have was as one verb, wanted as another, and go as the last verb in that sentence. Tomorrow, my friends and I will visit the museum. So we have will visit being the verbal phrase there for number 9. Number 10, the baby is crying. Is auxiliary and crying the verb. So we'll stop there. We did those in class already. Exercise 2. Insert suitable verbs in the sentences below. Number 1, the dog dash fiercely. I have barked. We could also have growled. The bag is mine. Sorry, this bag is mine. The river dash into the sea. The river flows into the sea. The birds dashed merrily. I have the birds chirped merrily. The elephants dash ivory tusks. So elephants have ivory tusks. The baby dashed soundly. The baby slept soundly. So we're using different verbs there. The rose smells fragrant. Number 8, tailors make trousers. Number 9, an author writes books. Number 10, the pupils studied hard. Let's go now to exercise 3, page 64. It says rewrite the sentences below after you have replaced the underlined words by a single verb from the box. So in the box, we have repeated, hibernate, rotate, declined, approaching, invaded, ebbed, and revolves. The lesson will be told again in another program. Underlined words will be told again. I have repeated. So the lesson will be repeated in another program. Number 2, the wind vane goes round and round when the wind blows. The wind vane, underline words no, goes round and round when the wind blows. I have rotate. So we could rewrite this as the wind vane rotates when the wind blows. Number 3, the girl did not accept my invitation to have dinner. Underline words, did not accept. Word I have here is declined. Declined. So the girl declined to accept my invitation. Social studies link now. In cold countries, some animals sleep through winter. So we're just about changing seasons now. So some of these animals that were asleep during winter should be waking up soon. So the word hibernate. Number 5, last one we'll do from this. The car was coming towards us at terrific speed. So the car was coming towards us at a terrific speed, and the underlined words there would be was coming towards. Word I have, approaching. Right? Go to page 65. Let's see what we have there. Okay. So it says read the sentences, exercise 4. Read the sentences and then complete with the verb that is formed from the underlined word. So we have a word and we can form a verb from that. Let's go. Number 1, if you have the admiration of others, they dash you. So from the word admiration, we can have the verb admire. Number 2, if someone gives an explanation, he or she dash something. He or she explains something. Number 3, to draw a conclusion, you use observations to dash whether your hypothesis is true or not. A hypothesis is an educated guess. Okay? All right. So let's go with this. An hypothesis is an educated guess. So to draw the conclusion, you use your observations to conclude. Your hesitation made me dash two. Made me hesitate. Last one. Hold your breath for a minute. Now you can breathe. All right. So one has to be able to look at the nouns here and to be able to pull from that a suitable verb. That could also be on the test. Page 66. The infinitive. The infinitive is a form of the verb preceded by to. For example, to make, to cry, to dance, to sing. To is never used with a verb in the past tense. Pay attention to that. We have to do our homework. So here we have an exercise on page 66, exercise 1. We have dash our teeth every day. We have to brush our teeth every day. I learned dash the piano since I was 5 years old. I learned to play the piano since I was 5. Children love dash with toys. To play. So I have children love to play with toys. Number 4, please tell him not dash on the wall. Please tell him not to write on the wall. That was number 4. Number 5 now. Our teacher told us dash this evening. Our teacher told us to study this evening. I'll stop there. We go to page 67. Pay attention to the examples below. We saw the truck overturn in the ditch. I watched my mother bake the cake. Note that after verbs of perception, the full infinitive form is not used. Do not say, we saw the truck to overturn in the ditch. We would say, we saw the truck overturn in the ditch. Some verbs of perception are see, hear, feel, and look. So these verbs of perception, they have to do with your senses: sight, hearing, touch, and, well, sight again to look. Let's note briefly, number 1, when two or more verbs follow one another, to is usually used with the first. When I go to school, I will learn to read, write, and play netball. The infinitive is always used after the verb try. I will try to do my best. I will always try to respect other people's opinions. Okay. Let's go. So we'll skip page 68 and 69 And we now go to the past tense. Read the following sentences. The aircraft leaves at 6 o'clock for Caracas. My brother work. My brothers work in a factory. My sister plays with her toys every day. The sun is the source of life. So this is the present tense we're looking at, not past, present. What is the verb in each sentence? When is the action taking place? Is the verb singular or plural in each sentence? Now, this is important for us to remember. The present tense, let's go again. The present tense tells what action is taking place now. Present tense also tells of habitual actions, as in sentence 3. Let's look at sentence 3. My sister plays with her toys every day. So we would use plays because that is an example of habitual action. So what is done often or every day? She plays. It also tells about a state of unchanging facts or universal truths, as in sentence 4. Sentence 4 says, the sun is the source of life. So that is an unchanging fact or a universal truth, and as such, it is stated in the present tense. Remember that the subject of the sentence must agree with the verb. So, I walk to school every day. My brother works in a factory. My sister plays with her toys every day. You have a long curly hair and he runs fast. Remember, singular verbs in the present tense end in S. Plural verbs in the present tense do not end with S. The pronoun I takes a plural verb. The pronoun you takes a plural verb. The pronoun he, she, or it takes a singular verb. So in class, we would say singular subject. A singular subject takes a singular verb. Singular verbs end with S. We would say a plural subject takes a plural verb. Plural verbs do not end with S. We would also say, regarding the last one, the pronoun he or she, we would say that a pronoun must agree with its antecedent in what? Gender and number. And number means whether it's singular or plural. Exercise 1, page 71. Let's look at the first 5. Number 1, Mary dash fast. Mary is 1. So Mary write or writes. Mary writes. Why? Because Mary is singular. She needs the verb that will be singular. Remember what we just read? That the singular subject will take the singular verb and the singular verb ends with S. So the word we're looking for is the one that ends with the S. Now, I play cricket. That's number 2. Remember what they said here? That the pronoun I takes a plural verb. So we can't say I plays cricket. Good, because the pronoun I will take the plural verb, and the plural verb does not end with S. Number 4. The Number 3 rather. The bus dash at 6 o'clock. Leaves or leave. The bus leaves. Why? Because the bus is singular. So singular bus looks for singular verb. Singular subject bus, we're looking for the singular verb leaves. Number 4, the pupil Pupil, that subject. One. Dash hard. So if pupil is singular, I'm looking for the verb that ends with S. So the pupil studies hard. Last one. Number 5. All dogs, plural, dash meat. So all dogs like meat. Not likes meat, like meat. We go now to page 72 where we have the present continuous tense. Mother is preparing bake and saltfish for breakfast. And bake will be a noun. It's something like a flatbread roti kind of thing that these people in Trinidad and Barbados will have. All right, bake. The children are playing football. We are running and skipping. I am studying for my examinations. What do you observe? Do they agree with their subjects? Yes, the verbs agree. Points to note. These verbs show a continuous action that is taking place at the present time. Therefore, we call them present continuous tense. An auxiliary or helping verb is used with the present participle in each sentence. Each subject agrees with the auxiliary verb am, is, are. The tense of the verb is called the present continuous. Here we have a drill. I am running. We are skipping. They are playing. You are crying. The girl is braiding her hair. The teachers are talking in the room. Questions, present continuous questions. So those were present continuous statements. Now we have present continuous questions. Is he singing? Are we walking? Is the girl braiding her hair? Are you crying? Am I reading? Is the dog barking? To form the past continuous tense of verbs, simply change am and is to was, are, to was, and are to were. Let's go with that again. To form the past continuous tense of verbs, simply change am and is to was and are to were. And you can use the present participle. Yesterday it was raining. Was it raining? Yesterday I was playing. Was I playing? Yesterday he was working. Was he working? Yesterday we were running. Were we running? Yesterday the children were crying. Were the children crying? So here we go now. We must change the verbs in the sentences below to the present continuous. Pay attention to the spelling when the changes are made. The children play netball. The children are playing netball. The ducks swim in the pond. So if it's happening now, we would say that the ducks are swimming in the pond. Mother bakes a cake. If it's happening now, we would say mother is baking a cake. We conduct experiments in science. We are conducting experiments in science. Last one. I study hard. I am studying hard. Let's go now to the simple past tense on page 75. The weather is fine. My brother has a parrot. My parents need help. The girl wash the girls wash their dresses. The seeds germinate quickly. What verb is in each sentence? What is the verb what tense is the verb in each sentence, and do the subjects agree with the verbs? You see, the subject verb agreement, you cannot get away with it. Suppose a word yesterday is added to each sentence. Which word in the sentence would you change? Let's go with this. The weather was fine yesterday. My brother had a parrot yesterday. My parents needed help yesterday. The girls washed their dresses yesterday. The seeds germinated yesterday. Remember that in statements of established facts, remember the verbs in statements of established facts are not changed to the past tense. Remember this. The sun is the center of the universe. We had said that from before, that if it's an established fact or truth, then it's always stated in the present. The earth spins on its axis. The moon is a satellite. The moon is Earth's natural satellite. So points to note. Was is the past tense of are, am, and is. Again, was is the past tense of am and is. Were is the past tense of are. Had is the past tense of has and have. Let's go now with the next section. The It says of some verb, the past tense of some verbs is formed by adding ed. So let's go. The past tense of verbs that end with a silent e preceded by a vowel is formed by dropping the silent e and adding ed. The verbs in the past tense remain the same, yes, whether the subject is singular or plural. So let's look at examples of those. The boy walked. The boys walked. I ran, we ran, he ran. So it says change the exercise 1 on page 77. Change the verbs to the past tense in each sentence. So I save $5 every month. I saved $5 every month. The store closes at 4 o'clock. The store closed at 4 o'clock. Mother bakes cookies for us. Mother baked cookies for us. Some seeds germinate quickly. Some seeds germinated quickly. Last one. I asked my father for a book. I asked my father for a book. So we turn now from page 77 to page 78. It says, uh, we can pass this. Let's go to page 79. Exercise 4. We have some words in the box and we can use them there. Number 1, mother prepared. Number 2, we located islands using lines of latitude and longitude. Remember, notice how they have it here. LA before LO. Latitude is always stated before longitude. The Coast Guard discouraged us from going on our fishing expedition because of the high swells. All right. So we can move on from there. All right. So here we have now on page 80, when we're dealing with some of the verbs, in some verbs that end in singular consonants preceded by a short vowel sounds rather, the last consonant is doubled before ed is added. For example, rap becomes wrapped. So we have a short vowel sound before the consonant. So we'll double the consonant. So we have RAPPED. So rap becomes wrapped. Clap becomes clapped. Tip becomes tipped. Remember now, we don't say tipped, clapped, rapid. Okay? So that ed, so ed can give us the t or t sound at the end. Let's go. So now I scrub the floor. Yesterday I scrubbed the floor. Pay attention to the spelling. Now we wrap the gifts. Yesterday we wrapped the gifts. Now he blots his book. Yesterday he blotted his book. So we can move on from that. We have the general idea there. We have the future tense on page 82. And when we're dealing with the future tense, we are looking for words such as shall and will. We move on from there. We have the auxiliary verbs to have and to be. Please review those. We have on page 86 and 87, we have the present participle, past tense, past participle. For example, in the present, am, is, are, present participle, being, past tense, was, were, past participle, been. We have words such as bark, barking, barked, bark, climb, climbing, climbed, climbed, search, searching, searched, searched, knock, knocking, knocked, knocked, fit, fitting, fitted, fitted, wrap, wrapping, wrapped, wrapped, scrub, scrubbing, scrubbed, scrubbed, drip, dripping, dripped, dripped, bite, biting, bit, bit, erase, erasing, erased, erased. So you can go through that list as well. All right. We have the section on verbs that are often confused on page 93. We have to lie, which means not to tell the truth. And we have lie, lies, lying, lied, and lied. Okay. Next, we have lie, which means to be in a horizontal or flat position. Right. So here we have the cats here, and they are lying on the ground. Past tense, lay. Past participle, laying. Okay. Then we have three, lay, as in an egg, to put something into that horizontal position. So we have present tense, lay, lays, past participle, present participle rather, laying, past tense, laid, past participle, laid. So let's look at this. So during the inquiry, the officer lied about his involvement in the incident. That is the one that means not to tell the truth. After the man was caught lying to the judge, not telling the truth, he was charged. You have lied to me, so you must be punished, said the principal, not telling the truth. Now we have the lie, which means to be in a horizontal position, right? As in, after he was hit, the boy lay unconscious on the road. So past tense of lie, okay, as in being in that horizontal position. We have lay as in the egg or the table. Last week, the hens laid many eggs. Okay. We have verbs that are often confused again. We have rise and raise. So rise, R-I-S-E, means to get up or to go up. When did the sun rise? While raise means to lift something up. So to help you to understand this, I would tell you that if something can rise, it has the power to move itself up. While if something has to be raised, it does not necessarily have the power to lift itself. So did you raise your hat? So your hat can't get up by itself. So we must do it. So we have to raise the hat from the table. We have to raise the flag, for example. All right. So we can move on from there. Page 98, 99. Verbs that are often confused. Yes. Page 101. All right. Finally, we can get into the section on the agreement of subject and verb, right? This is a long section, so I want you to take the time, page 103. In our next meeting, we'll pick up from there. So please pay special attention to the verbs, how the verbs are used in the different tenses. How do we make sure that they are being used correctly? Go over your rules, the rules we have done so far. And when we pick up, we will look at the agreement of subject and verb, page 103. Why am I taking time to go through the agreement? Because it's very important and it's one of the things that is always on the test. All right, guys, have for yourselves a good evening. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.